This shop has heard it all. Real stories, real men. Welcome to the podcast, Behind the Chair.
Southside baby standing on biz. Got no life, I'm standing on his. 3 days later, we resurrected, all perfected, standing on biz.
This your boy, D, your favorite barber.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is D, your barber's favorite barber. Episode 3, Standing Behind the Chair podcast. Listen, man, this is super duper special today. I got two of the best, not just coaches, but the two of the best men. These are my big brothers. That's how I look at them. Little did you know, my childhood dream was to be the first NBA/NFL football player. Didn't happen. So you probably talk to these guys, and they'll probably tell you some stories, man. But they could probably tell you that I wasn't that good to make it to that level anyway. But I'm super excited to introduce these two men. You got Coach Flowers on my right. You got Coach Badget on my left. Just greatly decorated careers. Their resumes. You can Google them. You'll see all their accomplishments. But I'm gonna let them speak to that. Without further ado, we're gonna kick it off with Coach Flowers. Coach Flowers, introduce yourself to the people.
Maurice Flowers. I'm a Charlottean. I'm a proud Charlottean. I'll say that. Went to East Mecklenburg High School, and from there I went to Johnson C. Smith University. I chased a career, an NFL career that just didn't let me find it. And then I went into coaching, which is my calling. Been a high school head coach in Charlotte. I've been a high school head coach in South Carolina. And I was an assistant coach in Texas and in Charlotte. And then I moved into the college ranks, and now I'm the head coach at Johnson C. Smith University, and been there in my alma mater since 2022.
Go the Bulls.
Yes.
Coach Badget.
Joe Badget from Reedsville, North Carolina, came to Charlotte in 1984 to play basketball at UNC Charlotte. Finished playing, and like our host, realized I wasn't good enough. So by passion and love for the game, it drove me into getting into coaching. Coached 18 years high school, 1 year, year before last, got to spend a year at Hampton University with Coach Buck Joyner Jr. Came back to Charlotte, and now is coach at Queens Grant High School.
Queens Grant. Well, guys, I appreciate you guys, man. Listen, man, let's get into it. Get into it. Man, y'all brothers, man. So let me tell you about it. So I call it the Coach's Corner. Every other Friday at 6 a.m., These guys are in the shop. And what I do, honestly, man, I kind of sit back and I just listen and I just observe. And clearly they got history, man. And clearly they are true brothers, man. So tell me, man, what's y'all's relationship? Give me the backstories.
Well, I'll tell you, you heard Joe say it came to Charlotte in 1984. Okay, that's when he goes to UNC Charlotte. I don't quite know the name of. I still call it UNCC. But I think the name has changed. But I'll go back to when it was UNCC. And a teammate of mine in high school, Byron Dinkins, was a senior when I was a sophomore. And I was on the basketball team. And then Byron went to UNCC. Yeah. And so Byron started coming home. And he always bring this guy with him. Yeah. This guy always seemed like we knew each other before we knew each other. Yeah. And so it just started then. I was a high school junior and playing quarterback in basketball, but then we would always find time to be playing basketball with each other, against each other, and things like that. So we go back a long way, and it's amazing that we're both coaches and really just strive to help young men reach their best.
Yeah.
It go 1986.
Ah, wow.
And I was fortunate enough to connect with Coach Dinkins even after we finished. We were very close, and so I would go to Gridtown, Charlotte, North Carolina, go to Gridtown, get my hair cut, and Coach Dinkins always talked about, man, we're going to see Mo Flowers. We're going to see Mo Flowers. I was like, who is Mo Flowers? And so got to go watch him play at East. And the first time I seen him actually play, it was football season. And I was like, man, Mo Flowers is a bad dude, man. This dude is good. You know, so we started keeping up, and then we see him in the barbershop, and he was younger than us. We were in college, so we got to kind of pour into him as much as we could when we seen him, you know, just, man, keep doing what you're supposed to be doing, do your schoolwork, boom, 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 because he was like, he became a little brother to us.
Yeah.
And we wanted to make sure he was successful, and he took off, and not only in football, which that was his thing, but he could hold his own in the basketball court too. You know, and he would let you know it. You know, he come out there
talk a little trash to you,
because he knew his ticket was gonna be football, but he you know he was the little brother who was like, I'm gonna let y'all know I can still do this too if I want to. You know, and so we go all the way back, man. I remember. You know, back in the day, at the barbershop at Gridtown, just sitting in the bar. He's the young dude. He like on Mo Flowers, and we just sit there and we have a good time, man. And so that's been a long 1986.
Yeah, that's good stuff right there, man. I'm just sitting back listening, man. I really do admire both of you guys. You know, Joe, you know how I feel about you. I've been knowing you from the time I moved to Charlotte. We used to go to church together. And I'm gonna tell you one thing that's really cool about Coach Joe. I really feel about is, you know, you admire somebody from afar, and you always say, you know what, one day if I get an opportunity to talk to this guy, but to see that I actually had a brotherhood relationship built with somebody, that's nothing but God. That's the hand of God. Coach Flowers, I don't remember the first time I had the chance to cut your hair. I believe your wife was coming here first, right?
Yeah. And my wife said, you have to go let D cut your hair. Yeah. And so to keep peace in my home, I listened to her. Yeah. And when I got here, just felt like I'd been here before. Yeah. And it just felt like this is where I was supposed to be. And you know, you could tell a lot. A barber shop really. It'll tell you a whole lot about, you know, just the vibe in the barbershop. You heard Joe talk about the barbershop in Gridtown. Hey, Bubba's Barbershop's where everybody hung out. And we'd be in the barbershop, and what would be supposed to be 30 minutes, you're there for a couple of hours. And you're just talking, and then you leave, and now you're going to play ball and things like that. So I got that feeling when I got here. And then it really helped that you can cut hair really well. Right.
That's important.
Yeah, absolutely. So it just worked like that, but it came from my wife. My wife said, you have to go and let D cut your hair. And that's how it started. And then everything just felt at home. And I've been here ever since.
I appreciate that. Appreciate you guys. One thing I think about often is it's a scripture that says that your gifts make room for you. And it places you in the presence of great men. So that's what my gift and my talent has been able to do.
Yes.
All right. But you said something about the barbershop culture. But let's shift to that. Talk to me about culture. Yes. You know, culture. How important is culture? Even before you step onto the football field, why is building a solid culture? And then what's some of the components of building a solid culture that you feel that you've been able to establish?
Well, if you don't have a good culture, you're not going to reach the heights that you would want to. I compare it as really is you can have a good team, but really you want a good program. Yeah. A program is something that's going to be consistent, and it's going to compete year after year after year. But the only way it's going to compete is because they know the standard, they know the routine, they know the expectations, and really, I really compare it to you have what I would call culture builders, and you have culture killers. And so what we want to find is the culture builder. Yeah. But you really have to define what your culture is. I hear you. And so at every place that I've been along the way, when you start to put your culture in place, it's always met with some angst and some resistance because they aren't used to it. But I'm glad that I don't have to go to a ready-made place. Yeah. Now that helps if you want instant results. Everybody wants to win and be competitive, but when you have a culture to know that you're going in and there's going to be some rough times, that's when you really know. And that's some of the things that we've been through most recently at Johnson C. Smith with our program. didn't have a winning culture.
Yeah.
For 40 years, 50 years, the average wins has been 2.3 wins. So why do you go there? But we put some things in place, and our culture is first off, we're going to be strong academically, and we're going to represent ourselves the right way. We're going to go to class a certain way. We're going to look a certain way. We're going to respect women. We're going to not wear saggy pants. We're going to wear a belt. Our young men in our football program, they can't wear earrings to football functions. They can't wear hats in buildings, and we're just preparing them for life after football. And so it's not for everyone, but those that stay and go with the culture, they're going to be champions. And you look at it, that's what we've been building. But our GPA when we first took over was just under 2.0, and I'm very, very proud to say that now we have a 3.1 GPA of 140 football players in the program, and it's come because of the culture that we have set. And really you start to feel it and know it when you go from being a coach-led team to a player-led team. That's when your culture is set in. And but you have to make sure you're setting the example as the leader for the young men to follow. And that, I think that's where it starts. But it's having a culture that you believe in that's really been tested. Because the worst thing you can do is start off and you say, this is my culture, and then some things don't go right, and you come back and your culture's changed. So you really didn't believe in that plan in the first place. And so that's what really gives you a lot of credibility, is when things don't always go right, but you're still sticking to your culture. And it's tough. It's going to be some tough times, but the good times are coming when you have a good culture that you believe in.
I love that. So speak to something, Maurice. You said something so key. You talked about culture killers and culture builders.
Yes.
How do you weed out the culture killer, and how do you put fertilizer and water the culture builders?
Well, with us, we have core values. And so we put the core values out there, but then it just comes to a point where you start recognizing young men that are leaders, and then you start helping them lead. And they don't have to be a junior or senior. Right now in our leadership council, we have a leadership council of 12 football players, and we have redshirt freshmen, sophomores, juniors, and seniors. And everyone doesn't stand out as a leader, because part of our job is to help cultivate leadership. So once we recognize them, then we start giving them exercises and we start building them up as leaders. And then when you say, how do we recognize culture builders? They're the young men that, as you sit and observe your group, they'll be the guys that can be the ones that are setting the example. They always come prepared. And then the guys that might be culture killers are the guys that when you walk in, they might still have their hat on. Seems like something simple, but it's major. It's minor, but it's major. But then you start seeing the young men that, leadership is hard, leadership is lonely. And young men today, everyone wants to be liked. And so the young men that already have it in them, that they're not timid to, hey, take your hat off. Coaches don't want your hat on. Or take your hood, put your hood down. You start recognizing those young men, those are the ones that you might want to start pulling into some leadership roles. So it's always recognizing those guys and the ones, and then also I believe in you can't be a one and done guy. And what I mean by that is, football and basketball, everything's such a business now. And you have to show productivity immediately or you're done in a lot of places. So what we try to do is have a family atmosphere, but one that helps teach and learn. We don't get rid of you after your first infraction. We want to create a culture that you feel free that you're going to grow. And then there's some that we help. If some young men are falling short, what we pride ourselves in our program is we're going to tell you the truth. We're not going to tell you what you want to hear. So we're going to pull you in. We're going to have those meetings. And then we also have something called a PRR, which is a player readiness rating. 10 categories. You get either a 0, a 0.5, or a 1. We want a golden bull to be at a 7. So we have these different meetings. and we let you know where we see you.
Where you see you, yeah.
But you know what? We also let them grade themselves. So if they come in and they've got a 9 and we see them at a 4, there's a problem somewhere. So those are things that we use those tools so that they always know where they stand. And then sometimes we have to have some tough conversations. And there is something called the transfer portal that sometimes we have to help a young man into the portal because they don't meet the standard. And we realize we're not everyone's cup of tea, but we want you to get a great college experience. It just might not be with us.
Yes. I love that. Coach Badget, man, talk to me, culture.
Well, I mean, my thing's a little different level, so but I heard Mike Tomlin, he said this, and the same thing that Coach Flowers said, the standard is the standard.
Yeah.
So once you identify what that standard is, and we started, 15, 16, 17 years ago, this is what we're going to do. We're going to take up grade sheets every Thursday. You turn your cell phone in every day, different things like that, to where you take care of these little disciplines. These little disciplines will lead you to getting rewarded the bigger thing. And so I get to dangle a different carrot because we're not quite in the business mode of it that Coach Flowers is in, but we're in the mode that you want to get to that level.
To the point,
And if you want to get to that level, and you want the influence that we have, then if you can do this, this, and this, I can call a Coach Flowers and say, hey, you need to come look at this kid. He's going to meet your standard because he works in these standards. And so what we do a lot of the same, it gets to the same thing where you want your teams to lead from within. I can tell our team in November early, sometimes in October. And we talk about it all the time. If you're waiting on me to hold you accountable, the program, you're going to get there. The program is proven to get you to a certain point. But once you get there, somebody got to show up and make a play. And if you're waiting on me, I don't get to check in. So teams, you'll see it early. State championship team we had in 2022. It was 3 times in that game I was going to get up and call timeout. Momentum, we were winning the game. Momentum started shifting, and all 3 times I stood up, the guys were already circled up and huddled on the court. So I sat back down. Nothing I can say. They've taken ownership of it, and they turned it. I think you were at that game. They turned it. I didn't have to call a timeout at all. So it's those type of things. At my level, I can get them to buy into, you want recruitment, you want this, you want that. And it was a struggle for me, the year I was at Hampton, because it's like, the buy-in just isn't there at that level that I'm used to. And it's not, it's just college is different. So, but at the high school level, you want to win the states, I get it. Okay, but the bigger picture is you want to go to college and play basketball. Okay, you're talented enough that we're a powerhouse basketball team. You're going to win high school basketball games. I have people out tell me all the time, you're such a great coach. How do you know? You never see me coach no trash team. I've been blessed with some talent.
That helps.
But to answer that, as far as the recognition as the coach, is because we put those, when me and Byron started the program, we put those principles and that structure in place as to you're going to do certain things. And like Coach Flowers said, no earrings, no hoods on, just different little principles. If you guys can handle this little stuff, because at the end of the day, this is little. This is little, You're a 6'10" dude in the air getting ready to dunk on you. That's a little bigger.
100%.
But you might, in our world, because we throw back old school guys, and those disciplines is what made us successful. And so just trying to get these younger guys to buy into that and understand that you can accomplish what you're trying to accomplish if you do things the right way. And so that's the like I said, the standard is the standard, and you just can't deviate from it. The biggest adjustment this year I'm having is the guys want to wear. We got a brand shoe we supposed to wear, but they want to wear different colors of that shoe. And they, Coach, it's still Adidas. And I was like, yeah, but I want them all the same color.
Yeah. Yes.
Because that's
Hey,
my standard.
That's right.
And so you have to
Yes.
tweak it. You know, you getting a little older. It's like, all right, man, as long as they Adidas, y'all just go ahead. We good. But that's hard for me.
Yeah.
You know, because you're so used to saying this is how we're going to do things, and you know what works.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so. But when you, like I said, you stick to the guns, you're gonna have the success you need.
Yeah.
You know, and people see the product. I think that's the one of the challenges. And I'm sure coaches going through it now, because with the success you're having, people want to come for the success.
Yes.
But they don't know what the standard is.
Yeah.
That's right.
So everybody doesn't fit.
Yeah.
That's right.
You know, you can read the newspaper and the internet and all that. Man, John C. Smith is doing this right now. You know, Queens Grant's doing this. This was his first year over there, and they doing. Yeah, but when you get there and you realize that we're gonna spend 7 weeks running 6.5 miles a day,
100%.
like this what you signed up for when you came over here.
Yeah.
You know, so those things there, you can't change it.
Yeah.
So I'm saying you change it, then you're telling your guys that you don't believe in it yourself.
Yeah.
And in my case, I would have to be, you know, when Coach Dinkins left and went to Charlotte, it's like, Coach, you're going to change? No. What we've been doing work. We've been to 11 state championship games. What we changing something for?
Yeah.
Right. So we're going to do, this is the standard.
Yeah.
I just got to guide the ship.
That's it.
You know, so the standard and all that's been built, so we're not going to change, and the success follows, which is what you're saying with Coach. You know, we knew going into this year what it was going to be based off last year.
Yeah.
Tweak this, tweak that, but the standard is the standard.
Standard is the standard.
They here now.
Yeah.
You know, so that's where it's got to be.
Now, I love what you said. You talked about the standard being the standard. It's almost like a thermostat versus the thermometer scenario, right? The thermostat is set, and it's like, I don't care what is happening in the atmosphere. It can be 100 degrees outside. Whatever I set that thermostat to be, it's set.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm not going to adjust. I'm not going to adjust to what a parent may say. I'm not going to adjust what this new kid coming in is going to do. Nah, this is what it is.
Yeah.
So, but speak to that in terms of just buy-in. You know, buy-in, trying to get guys to buy in. How do you know? What are the indicators that you know that, okay, my standard is actually 100% working, and I got buy-in now?
Well, the biggest thing is once the kid gets there, one, I try to vet them all anyway. I talk to the parents, I talk to the kids, I try to get an idea of what they're looking for and all that. And I'm a straight shooter, so I tell you, hey man, if you don't like running 6 miles every day from September after Labor Day to October 15th, you might want to rethink this. You know, if you think we're getting ready to change what we do, or you think you come to save Queens Grant basketball, wrong place.
Yeah.
You know, so you tell them and you clear with them so that they understand that we come. This is what you're signing up for, and he's not changing.
Yeah.
You know, he's gonna do it. This is where we're gonna do it.
Yeah.
And I've had kids that left, or you know, kids that were there when I got there that played. And when we had a kid this year that actually played last year, and he was straight, and he just told me, he said, Coach, man, I'm not going to do all that running, and I ain't going to get to play this year, so I'm just going to get me a job. I appreciate that. So any way I can help him, I'm going to help him.
Yeah.
But because he's honest about what he's trying to accomplish, and college basketball is not for everybody.
Yeah.
You know, so but you have to let people know what you're about, what you're trying. Let them buy into your culture to get them what they want for their child.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest thing with the parents. I mean, one of the things we do is our prices are always open to the parent. So I don't have to have parent meetings. If you want to know why little Billy is not playing, come watch practice.
Come watch practice, yeah.
You know, and so I'm not gonna say nothing that when you're not there, I won't say when you are there. Just come watch practice, and then you get an idea, because you go at the end of the day. I have kids. You're gonna coach them. For me to tell a parent, don't say nothing to your child during the game, just cheer for him. That's totally unrealistic. So if you're gonna coach him, come to practice. So when you're in the stands, you yelling at him to do something, you know what he's supposed to actually be doing, and now you helping him. But you can't be in a situation where the kid is. I done told him to go do this, and you yelling, shoot. And so we don't have that problem because we engage our parents, and we had media day Saturday, and a lot of the moms were there with their kids, and so it just hit me to say, hey, any of you moms want to take a picture with your kid, come up here and join them in media day.
Love that.
So get them engaged so that they become supportive.
Yeah.
And they know what you're trying. They already have their goal set. They have their agenda when they come to you.
Yeah.
And you have to understand that they already they have their agenda.
Yeah.
So my job is to make your agenda fit this culture so that we both get what we're trying to get to for your child.
Yep.
Yeah.
And if that all lines up, we don't have a problem.
Yeah. 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 I love that. Love that. Let me ask y'all a question. Y'all have such a great opportunity. Like, I've coached, I got young boys, I coach their teams. And then as they grow older, these players that I coach at this level, they still call me coach. I'm a barber, but they still call me coach, right?
Yeah.
But it speaks to just the impact that a coach has on a child.
Yeah.
Right? Y'all have such a great opportunity to give life skill set to these young men. And these guys got so much distraction in their life right now. You got the girls, you got the money, you got, all this stuff. You're trying to help these boys stay balanced and, because at the end of the day, everybody not going pro, right? Everybody ain't going pro.
Right.
But these going to be future husbands.
Yeah.
These going to be future fathers. They're going to be entrepreneurs. These going to be people that will be working in the marketplaces and jobs, and they're going to be good employees. So how do you, with the guys that y'all have access to, how do you keep them locked in? How do you keep them on straight and narrow and really focused on what the main mission is?
For me, I think a lot of it's just consistency.
Yeah.
Being consistent as a leader and consistent with your standards, and really you don't realize it until the ones that you coached years ago, they start coming back.
Yeah.
And they start saying thank you and coach, you helped me through these things and those things. But I think when you set your culture and you set your standards and your core values, you have to be consistent in how you deliver them, and you can't waver from them.
Yeah.
I think you can grow from them a little as your program grows.
Yeah.
An example I can give you is when I was first hired at Johnson C. Smith, our first 2 seasons on Friday night after meetings, we took cell phones. Because you can't get a full performance if you're up on
You're distracted.
being distracted.
Yeah.
So we took cell phones. After year 2, my leadership council had a meeting with me. Coach, we've got to a certain point. Can we keep our phones? I said, yes, you keep your phone. You all have earned that.
Yeah.
I said, but we're going to see after this first ball game. They performed well. I let them keep phones.
Yeah.
We had an incident. And then I said, I'm taking the phones.
Yeah.
There was no pushback. There was no anything because they did not meet the
They
standard.
meet the standard.
And guess what? The winning kept on. So guess what? They have not asked for those phones back. So it's good to be able to have culture and standards that are set, that they believe in and they understand. Here's our big thing is we want you to always know the why, why things are important and why we must respond the way that we do, because it's life. And really life is about how you respond to adversity. Everyone is good when, hey, we're up 21-0 and we're celebrating on the sideline. But how is it when you're down 0-21? Are you still bought into that culture? That's going to really tell you who's with you. Everybody's with you when you're winning. But when those rough times come, those tough times come, now who's the guy that's late? Who's the guy that misses practice? See, I want to have a meeting with those people because you're not all the way bought in. The standard didn't change. You're still supposed to be on time. You're still supposed to bring your notebook and pen. But because something didn't go right, you're not adhering to the standard. So no one wants to lose, but sometimes losing will show the culture, the true culture that you've developed.
I love that.
Yeah.
What about you, Coach?
You have to eliminate. We call it the noise.
Yeah.
So we call it all of that's the noise. It could be mama, it could be daddy, it could be social media, girlfriend. all of it's noise, and we talk about it, and and the biggest buy-in to like you said, when the kids see you now, they still call you coach. Said the kids first, they gotta know you love them. Mm-hmm. They gotta know that. Because you're not going to maximize their potential with all the outside noise pushing if they don't.
Yeah.
Because you're not gonna beat the noise.
Yeah.
It's impossible. It's too much of it.
Too much of it. Yeah.
It's too much of it.
Yeah.
And so we circle up, and Coach Dinkins started this week. You see a lot of basketball teams circle, and they stand outside the circle, and the coach is the person in the circle. We don't do that.
Yeah.
I make all of them. We're all in that circle.
Yeah.
Everybody's in that circle, and we talk about so that for doing basketball season, this is what we got.
Yeah.
Anything outside this circle is noise.
Noise. Yeah.
And you got to manage that noise because it's going to come. If you let the noise, you can hear it.
Yeah.
But you can't let the noise break the circle.
100%.
The noise break the circle, we in trouble.
Yeah.
And it's going to get you at a time that you don't want it to get you, which in our case is normally the state final. So you got to manage the noise, and they buy into it. The kids, our kids know, man, we'll do anything in the world for them, and like you were saying, the biggest reward for coaches is not the championships and the titles. It's the wedding invitations. If you got a kid just had his first baby last week.
Yeah.
So he's on the group text with the Northside guys. He sent a picture of his baby.
Yeah.
And, and then Coach Dinkins goes on and says, be a good daddy. So it's those type of things, man. That's your reward because 100%. For that kid to stay engaged and send you that means you impacted.
Yes.
And so that's the part that you got to get that kind of buy-in and commitment from them because they know and they feel that love. And then, at that point, you can manage the noise.
Yeah.
Like I said, you're not going to beat it. You're not going to win the noise battle, but you can manage it.
Yeah.
I had a joke with my guys the other day. You see all these reports on social media about these players and all this stuff. And I told the kids, I said, man, I ain't seen some of these kids that they be writing about. Are they that good?
Yeah.
And the kids like, Coach, man, them kids not that good, man. I don't know why they writing on that stuff. I said, well, if they not that good, don't believe what they writing about you either.
Right.
Because it's all noise. Eliminate the noise so you can stay focused on what we're trying to get accomplished as far as you and your future. And so that's what we try to strive on that part of it.
Yeah, I love that. And those are life lessons right there. Like I remember the coach I least liked the most was my junior year high school football coach, Coach Davis. Didn't like him at all. You know why? Because he was checking me on things and he was telling the truth.
Right. Yeah.
I didn't
want accountability.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but what I'm realizing is he saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. You see what I'm saying? That's how you know you got a good coach.
Oh, yeah.
A good coach is not going to be a yes man.
No.
He going to say, you know what? Yeah, that's great. You did that. But you know what? You could have done this more. You know, he going to work on work ethic because see what that does, it translates down as you become mature into a man.
Yep.
So, but I think about it often. We get athletes in here all the time, and I threw a guy off the other day. I said he thought I was going to ask him about. I mean, he's a four-star recruit. He thought I was going to ask him about, hey, what school, what colleges is knocking at your door? I don't care about that. I want to know about who you are as a person, your character.
Yeah.
Your character. Because right now, everybody's talking about who you are, but when you get on college campus, you go from being a big fish to the small fish.
Yeah.
But I think that's very important is to really help our young men really understand that sports is so many life skills and so many life lessons that you can learn in it. So think about things like, tell me things about when y'all went from players to coaches now that y'all pull back from that you say, I learned this as a player, but now you just now as a coach.
And the relationships, and I think that's the biggest problem with the generation and the noise is they didn't come up where they valued relationships. Yeah. We used a ball to establish relationships that we have to this day.
Yeah.
I mean, when Coach was all over the country coaching, didn't get to talk to him.
Yeah.
But when I seen him, we picked up where we left off, like we had been talking every day.
Yeah.
Because of the value of the relationship. Yeah. And he know if I needed something, I could call him. If he needed something, he could call me. Yeah. And so that's the, my first job was at Town and Country Forward because of the relationship with my coach, with Bruton Smith. Made a phone call.
Yeah, just like that.
Just like that.
Yeah.
And so we understood, and when we went to a room where we went to dinners and things like that, we talked to people, and we found out who people were.
Yes.
Yeah.
And because you don't know who's in the room.
Yeah.
But these kids will go. So if you don't, you have to teach them that stuff nowadays because they're not gonna say nothing.
Yeah.
And so those relationships, our relationship. I mean, we never talk to each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we family.
Yeah.
So get these kids, this generation of kids, to see value in that. And then I won't speak for Coach Flower, but I know at the college level it's even tougher because of the transfer portal.
Oh yeah,
kids they're not bought in. I'm gonna be here for a while. Yeah. Let me meet the let me meet the AD. Let me meet this. Let me make sure I know my teachers.
Yeah.
They're not into that. Yeah. They're okay. I'm here while I'm here.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm here till I'm gone.
Yeah.
And so to get them to understand, but even while you're here, if it's gonna be a short minute, you still need to value these relationships because you don't burn the bridge, because that you don't know who could help you. And so that's the challenge with this generation of kids. And we grew up where we talked to people, we understood that stuff.
Yeah.
That's what you said is key about you said the key word there, talk.
Right.
It's everything's about communication.
Yeah.
And that's how relationship builds is through communication. And you speak of you're speaking of how do we help this generation and this group of young men. That's one of the first things is we express how important it is to communicate.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. You miss practice, but we got no phone call.
Right.
Okay, that's a problem. Okay, you're having trouble in that class, but we say don't suffer in silence.
Yeah.
You have to let us know you need a tutor. Yeah. Okay, so it's getting the young men to understand that we're for them. But again, the old sayings that say and if you want them to care, they have to know how much you care about them. And so the folks that are in leadership positions, you have to extend yourself. Yeah, right. And so when you extend yourself, and part of extending yourself is at the same time giving them guidelines. Yeah. All right, but when you're extending yourself, that now opens the door for them to walk through. Yeah. And so that's one of the reasons I would say our program has grown so quickly is because of the communication piece. Yeah. And we have to be able to communicate. And we know that one of the things that young males struggle with is communication. Right. And so we have to help them do that, which is in our program. Yes, it's a business, it is, but freshmen, I would say, we're toughest on the freshmen, but at the same time, we're also easiest on the freshmen. They can make a couple more mistakes than some of these juniors and seniors that should know better. But the freshmen, we're going to be hard on them, but at the same time, they just left mom and dad and grandmom that was washing their clothes for them, and they were waking them up in the morning. And so now they're late, and we've got some consequences. We don't call it punishment, but we got consequences. But you're still getting used to getting up on your own. You're still getting used to washing your clothes, folding your clothes. And our coaching staff, it takes a lot of time to be a college coach, but we mandate room checks. Yeah. We're going to look at their rooms. Yeah. You want to know how a young man is living? Go check his room.
Yeah.
Go check your room. And I want to know. We'll sit there and go through everyone on the roster. Yeah. How does his room look? And they'll tell you, that's why he's messing up. Yeah. He's messing up in practice because he don't know where his clothes are in his room. He's late because he doesn't know where anything is. So we help him build those skills. It's our job to help them. That young man, and then it's also, you might find out something about the young man too. Young man's not coming with a notebook all the time to meetings. It might not be that he's forgetting it. He might not have them. The resources home. So really now we start peeling back layers, but it comes from relationship that you mentioned. And that relationship and communication really is how you build them. Because guess what? then comes the trust.
Yeah.
And so when you're communicating, you're building the relationship. Now they're starting to trust you and say, okay, he's not just blowing that whistle and yelling at me all the time.
Right.
He really is concerned about me. And now I've got a problem and I need to talk to him.
Yeah.
That's when
That's when you got him.
you made, yes.
Yeah.
That made an impact.
Yeah.
Now, I love what you said, and that really just translates down to just life, right? Relationships. But which helps me segue into my next point I want to ask y'all about is just your faith. You know, we're all men of God, and how does your faith, translate and trickles down to your coaching style and how you coach, and why is that important to you? You know, for me, my faith translates because everything I do, I try to do it as if God is my boss, which he really is. I don't do this to make a name for myself. He'll make your name great.
Yes.
So one thing that I'll let that trickle down to just the spirit of excellence. That's why I'm big on sanitation. That's why I take my time on haircuts, because I really want to make his name known at some point. And it may not be all churchy, and people say, oh man, he's this, he's that. But they'll say, something different about him. He stands out because the way he approaches everything that he do. And to me, that's what it means that when it says that everything you do it as unto God. Stewardship.
Yes.
And I feel like when you become a good steward of what God has given you a gift, when you steward your gift really well, God now entrusts you with more.
Yes.
He gives you more influence. He gives you more increase. So y'all speak to that. Your faith in God. How does that translate down to your coaching style, and why is your faith important?
Well, for me, as a head college coach, coaching takes up a lot of time.
Yeah.
And with your high school, college, you're going to be gone.
Yeah.
And sometimes what the cost is, you're not able to be as active as you might want to be in church or in Bible studies on Wednesday evening or Tuesday evenings. And so because of that time commitment that you're going to have, I try to make it that I don't have marathon days. But one of the biggest things that I do is that every staff meeting, we start off with a devotion. Yeah. And so we'll have a devotion. It's a 10-minute, 15-minute period where men speak. Yeah. And you just heard us talk about how young men don't communicate. A lot of times men, right. We as men, we don't have that outlet. So because time is something that we can't get back and it's so precious, I want to always use that devotion time as some time that we give unto the Lord. Yeah. Because we don't get it a lot of times. Yeah. And so we use that time. You can speak, it can come from scripture. It can come from a story that you've had, but we want to bring it all to we're giving honor to God. Yeah. And so you're sitting there with men, 12 to 14 men, some single, some married, some with children, some not, some. So now you're in a conversation that's Bible-led, where you're talking about life. Yeah. And so now you've got a young man that's getting ready to get married, but he's got people that have 10, 15, 20 years of marriage experience with him. You've got a new father getting ready to bring a child into the world, but you've got several coaches that have raised children. Yeah. And so it's just it's a atmosphere that we create. And so for me, that's where it starts. Yeah. Okay. But then with our young men, we don't push religion, but we push relationship. And so our young men, they know they're going to hear me pray. Yeah. I'm going to pray before meals, for the team. Yeah. And so with that, they have their own things that they do. Yeah. Our football team at Johnson C. Smith, before every weight room session, they pray. Yeah. They pray after. Yeah. If you come to our practice, we practice at 6:30 a.m. Before we practice, though, they circle up around that bull and they pray together. Nothing that was ever pushed by coaches or anything, but by them seeing men that aren't timid to show their faith and know that where their strength comes from, it's okay. Yeah. And so that's probably some of the things I'm most proud of is to help young men feel good about chasing a relationship with the Lord. Yeah. And I'm glad to say that they can see that in me. Yeah. They might always They might not hear it from me all the time. Because
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
going to be on them. but it's good that we can have those type of conversations.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And it goes back to culture, right?
Oh, that's part of it.
Yeah, it comes
All
back to
part
culture.
of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Coach
Yes.
Badget, what about you?
It's definitely a part of the culture. We look at the biblical principles, and we get their attention through the principles, without having to preach to them every day and all that. And you know, we'll say some stuff sometimes that challenge them to think through the principles of what we do, why we do. The program is built off of Philippians 2:3-4, which is all about humility and count others more significant than yourself.
Yeah.
So every state championship ring we ever got has got that on there,
Yeah.
and all of them know it. You know, and so to get them, which is a key principle, if you want to be a successful team, I got to care more about that guy right there
That's right.
than me.
That's right.
You know, and so we get that kind of buy-in. I watched every year. I seen this at first year at Hampton. The year I was at Hampton, a kid come in and he said, "What's that chant y'all we be doing, Coach, before we go out to go out for the game for warm up?" I said, "Chant? What are you talking about?"
Yeah.
That's the Lord's Prayer. It kind of
Right.
it was shocking to me because old school, we grew up. That's
Yes.
and so my kids in our program, they all know it. It was cool last year because it's public school.
Yeah.
So you got to be careful what you do or say but in my case, say it's our program is what we do. Yeah. And so we started off in the first game. We get up and we get ready to say the Lord's Prayer, and I've seen the kids pray and different things like that, but it was amazing to me to see that they could pray, but wasn't comfortable with the Lord's Prayer. And so we circled up in the first practice. I hear three voices, being the two coaches. So I said, "Man, do y'all not know the Lord's Prayer?"
Yeah.
Coach, we know some. I said, "Well, y'all need you're going to know it.
Yeah.
You got to say it. We're going to do this all the time."
Yeah.
And so by the time we get to, game 3, you hear more voices.
Yeah.
Because it's before game, then it's after game. So
Yeah.
then by the time you get to game 6 or 7, now you hear all of them.
Yeah.
And so you've learned the Lord's Prayer without even opening up the Bible.
Yep.
But you heard everybody say it. So then you start seeing the meaning of it and how we walk and try to do things. And, like Coach, it's a challenge to get them. We actually went to church as a group yesterday, which was pretty good. But it's a challenge in today's society with them going to gatherings.
Correct.
Because of the disconnect and what they perceive those gatherings to be. I heard one of the parents yesterday when we were at the service, they said, "Coach, this was a good service, and not one time did he ask me for a dime."
Yeah.
Okay, well, that perception,
Yeah.
and so that you having to fight through that stuff
Correct.
too. So and then some of the challenges. I mean, I've had some situations in the church congregation, 2 different settings, the way it was like, "Oh, what is this church thing really about?" Because that ain't love. That ain't what it's supposed to be.
Right.
And and I share those conversations and all of that with the guys. Very transparent with all of that, because what I grew up into was the old religion where everybody was all goody two shoes all the time. Right. And when I started reading for myself several years ago, it's like, man, you really want to see some dudes that was really cool and some bad boys, you probably want to read this Bible because they in here.
100%.
Yeah.
And so you start getting the guys to understand, man, let's read. So look at this dude. Let's read about David. Look at, and so we had Pastor Show actually came over and talked to the guys last week, and he talked about David and Goliath. And he tied it into basketball because he started talking about the 5 smooth stones. And I was like, got something right there. So, and immediately they was like this.
They set up,
So they want that, but it's the distraction of what happens in some of your church environments and things. You got to work around that too to really get them locked in. And I mean, fortunately for us, we get a different pulpit.
Oh yeah.
Like Coach said before, it's a ministry. We know what we called to do,
Yeah.
but we get a different pulpit to where we can actually show you,
Oh yeah.
give you the testimony, and you're not
Yeah.
having to deal with that noise. That's right. Because sometimes that's noise too.
That's right.
Yes.
And that can be just as much of a distraction as any other noise. You know, so we really lock into that, and you know, it's getting. I got 3 kids that's ministers now and different things, so that part's pretty cool. They get to call me with it. They send me devotions.
Yeah.
I remember when you was 8 years old, they used to send me a devotion, which is pretty cool. So you know they got it.
You're right.
So so you know, so that's the real key with us.
Yeah, I think it's so key, man, because I think that one of the biggest things you can do is not just articulate it, but demonstrate it.
Right.
The demonstration of it, like your actions actually do speak louder than your words. I mean, I can name several stories about just how faith transfers down. I often remember how I was before the things that I've been able to transition through now, where I'm at currently. But I remember how I was before.
Right.
I didn't really follow a lot of people that would just talk the noise. I looked at people that can walk the noise.
Right.
Like, can you really walk and demonstrate it? That's why God gave us 2 eyes, 2 ears, 1 mouth.
Right.
All right, live it.
Yeah.
Okay, you say you're doing that. Okay, now let me see you demonstrate that. And I think that's one thing that God has given both of y'all the gift of, and that's of influence. And y'all are stewarding that gift extremely, extremely, extremely well. And so I just want to show honor to y'all for that.
Thank you.
And that translates down, and you will begin to see more and more men on your teams that can translate in that same level of influence.
Yeah. It's big.
Yeah. So I appreciate y'all and jumping on with me today for the
Yes, sir.
podcast.
Appreciate you, man. It's been great.
And we appreciate everybody tuning in. This is like I said, this is the Coach's Corner, man. Look, this is what happens every other Friday morning at 6 a.m.
Yes.
And but thank y'all for really being a part of this right
You
here.
got to call it right now, because you know I get my cut is at 6 a.m. Coach Flowers is at 6:30, so I end up having to stay an extra 45 minutes because I got to wait till he get here at 6:20 so we can chop it up a little bit before I get out of here at 7:30.
Exactly
So
right.
it's good stuff, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate the
I
love.
appreciate y'all,
guys,
man. Big time.